Good evening, everybody. And today is January 4th, 2021, our very first meeting, regular select board meeting of the year. And we wish everybody good health and happiness and safety for the next year. That is the most important thing that we can wish for everybody. We will begin the order of the agenda by asking, are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we move to the approval of minutes. That would be for the December 1st, 2020 budget meeting.
No,
That's what it says here.
the 21st.
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
21st.
December 21st, 2020 budget meeting.
I make a motion. I'll second it.
You make a motion and second it? No. You second it?
Shelley seconds it.
No, I
Angela
wasn't
makes the
here.
motion.
I can't do it, I wasn't here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you'll make a motion and second it?
No, Shelley
Shelley
seconded.
did, and Angela's up here too.
Where's Angela? Oh, I see. Hi, Angela. I didn't see you. Okay. So
Everybody's forgot her.
we've made a motion and now we're seconding the motion to accept the budget meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Chris is abstaining because he was not here, so the motion passes. Thank you. The next item of business is road foreman and road commissioner's report. Jay, can you give your report, please?
Forgot to unmute myself. So the town experienced a huge amount of rain and melting snow in the Christmas Day storm, and we had damage on many roads. We reviewed the damage with V-Trans and have qualified for an emergency grant. They will cover 90% of the repairs. We're doing as many of the emergency repairs as we can now, and the rest will be fixed in the spring. Part of this is at the end, we'll open the bids that we got for one of the roads. The Depot Road culvert, we're still waiting for the foreclosure sale to happen on the 19th of January. The Newfane Village Speed Committee had to reschedule a Zoom meeting for the traffic safety audit for Newfane Village. The garage had no internet that day. And Comcast was fairly quick, but it kind of frustrating when you had a meeting scheduled. The sand salt shed, Bell Engineering is still working on the next phase of the plans, and he has now staked out the building. And the Arch Bridge did not go out to bid as planned and has been delayed until June of 2021 to be put out to bid, with work happening in the summer of 2022, which wasn't very exciting either.
That's very disappointing to hear.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, they found a little glitch in there when they went to put it out to bid, and there just wasn't time enough to get it corrected for this year.
Well, I'm very sorry about that. And I know you've worked hard and the guys have worked hard in preparing all of this. Chris, do you have something to add?
No,
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question if it's okay.
Sure.
I know you guys have been super busy with all the roads that were damaged. I just was wondering if you had a chance to make it up through Mantell Hill Road.
We were up there looking at it again today. I had to take some
Okay.
pictures of it. Yeah, we've got a lot of roads that are kind of similar to that. So we've been trying to do the very worst ones first,
Right.
and then make it around to the other that are more the side of the road. So
Yes, Henriette had called me, so I just wanted to make sure that
yep,
it was being
I
looked
added
at.
It's on the state's list too. So
Excellent. And thank you so much for all your hard work. You guys have been doing an amazing job. I traveled to Dover on Saturday during a storm, and I will say that the roads looked pretty good for the conditions that they were at. So thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, they look great. They've been working hard.
We spent the entire week prior to the rainstorm trying to make runouts for it, and it was nowhere near enough for the amount of rain that came down. So
Yeah, that was incredible.
yeah, that was at least on the back roads. It was similar amounts of water that we saw during Irene as far as coming off the hillsides. And so
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have-
Smithbrook Creek was almost not, I was worried about it coming up. I mean, it was
Yeah.
right at the top. It was ready to run out the door.
Yep.
I have a little brook behind my house and it was right up to the top. And Browns Road was, the
Yeah,
river over there was
that a
incredible.
mess. Yeah.
Yeah, I took pictures in the back of our brook and I emailed it off to people to see how wild it was.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay, I heard and saw several of your road trucks going up West Street. I assume they were going up the Wardsboro Road, but they were very busy going back and forth, and our neighborhood really thanks you so much also for all the work you're doing in that section of Newfane.
So you also should have, I don't know whether you have one or two or what you have for bids to open for the damage that was done to the end of Adams Hill Road.
One sec. We have two bids. Mike, you want to step away? You want to go take a walk?
I'm all right, go ahead. I'm away from the table.
Okay, we have two bids. The first bid is from A.S. Clark and Sons. And could you say again what the bids are for, Jay?
About the last 1,000 feet or so of Adams Hill, it's just one trench down the center of it, and it was more work than we could get to this fall, and it needs to be kept open. So we, in talking with Mark, he thought we should put it out to contractors, see if somebody could get it finished in the next week to be able to get him in. He has to get propane trucks into his camp out there or his house, and nothing can get through right now.
Okay, so this is for the town of Newfane, Adams Hill Road. And this is a bid amount from A.S. Clark and Sons. The estimated project total cost is $16,980. The entire
16,000?
16
$16,980.
and 80.
Okay.
Yeah. The entire project in capital letters must be completed by January 8th, 2021. And they have enclosed their certificate of liability insurance for commercial liability, general liability, automobile liability, and that's their bid. So did you make notes? Okay, the second bid is from Fitzpatrick Excavating Company. The estimated project total cost is $10,500. This entire project must be completed by January 8th, 2021. And those are the two bids. Now, I have a question. What happens if it's not finished on that date?
40 lashes with a wet noodle.
Yeah.
No,
I
really.
don't know how you would address that. They just, Mark said we should put a date in it as far as, just give them so long to get it repaired so he can get back in there. So that's why we put the end of next week or the end of this week. So that's why it was important to open them tonight and get it awarded, and then gives them this week to fix it, or 4 days of this week.
Well,
I just want to see if there's a calendar.
I mean, it has to be done by the 8th, which is 4 days away.
Right.
Yeah,
And, I think in the future, if we have like a time thing like that, we need to put in like, there would be, you know, a discount against the award for every day, you know? Because that would get them motivated to get done, you know, on the days required. I would recommend that.
Jay, I have the calendar in front of me,
Yeah,
and today is
the 4th.
January 4th, and it's supposed to be done by the 8th. Is there a reason why it's such a short period of time?
Because he has to be able to get a propane truck in there. His house is heated. And the roads, he can't get anything in there right now. And that's the only way into that house.
I'm gonna pass the bids around for a minute.
That's all right. I heard it.
Mike, you want to? Okay,
Can we make any adjustment on that, that bid, or we have to go with the bid as it is?
I think we have to go as is.
Okay, so my recommendation is that in the future, if we have to have something done in a certain amount of time, that we put a fee, if it's not done at the time that we require it to be. Does that sound good?
I think we actually have that in one of our policies.
Yeah, but it's not in that bid.
No, it's not.
And also on top of that, if the company doesn't complete the project in that time manner, that it is reviewed the next time they put in a bid
Right.
for a project, because it has happened several times before. So we have to make sure that we choose companies that are going to do the work in a timely manner.
And if they can do it in that time.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so is there a motion that anybody would like to make about the two bids?
Well, my question to Jay is, do you think the work can be done in that amount of time?
I think so.
Putting fill down?
Yeah, it's not a very wide trench, but it goes the whole length of that section of the road.
Okay,
I think with our smaller trucks, we just didn't see any way we could pull it off. So you need somebody that can actually move some material
yeah,
and get it done. So that's why we did it. And I think either one of the contractors would do fine.
yeah. So is that bid only for the fill, or they have to get it rolled down, flattened down?
They have to put it into the trench and so it'll be drivable when they're done.
Okay, okay. So
I make a motion for A.S. Clark.
why would, I don't,
Is there a second on that? Shelley, do you have something to say?
I'm not gonna second it.
You're not going to second it?
No.
Okay. Does anybody else have a second for Archie Clark?
The only concern I have, no, I'm not gonna say anything. Because Mike hasn't finished the job on the Dover Road yet, that he bid off,
And that was a year ago?
or not.
Several years ago.
So we need a second before we can open up to discussion. Is there no second?
We have no second.
Okay.
Well, we can't discuss this until we have a second. Does anybody want to make a different kind of a motion?
I don't know if they heard you.
Did you hear? I'm asking Angela and Shelley and Chris if anybody wants to make a different kind of a motion. Either a totally different person or some with contingencies. Is there any other kind of motion that could be accepted? Shelley, do you have a different motion?
No, I don't have a different motion.
So you have no different motion, but nobody's willing to make a second on the
Well,
first
you
motion.
can second it, Marion.
No, I know, I can, but I want to hear what other people have to say. It's not, I only can make a suggestion or vote if there's a tie or something. That's really the appropriate thing for a chairperson to do. But right now, we have nothing.
Really? You can't make a second on it?
Yeah, you can.
I can.
What I would do is give it to Mark Pricker and let him look them over. I mean, it's $6,000 difference in pricing. I mean, the state's the one's gonna be paying for this, so.
Okay. Mike is here, and he just made a suggestion that we hand over the bids to Mark Pickering from V-Trans because the state is paying for it.
That's what Jay said.
Is that true, Jay?
90% of the cost.
90%.
Yep, they're supposed to be covering the cost. And the last time we did this, that we had emergency repairs, I believe we were supposed to go with the low bid on it. That was, I think
Right.
we had a problem with a couple of the bids. So that may be a problem if we don't. The only other problem with having Mark review it is the
You don't have
time.
it done by the 8th.
Well, I can make a motion, I guess that I would accept Fitzpatrick's at 10.5, that we approve it.
Yeah, I do remember that Jay has said other times when there are road bids that if V-Trans is involved with it, they want the lowest bid.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
want to accept the lowest bid. So
Okay,
in this case,
so
Mike could,
there's a motion right now that Shelley just made to have Fitzpatrick do it at 10,500. Is there a second?
is there a second? Well, I'll give a second because I do know from past experience that if it's V-Trans, and the state of Vermont is paying for it, they do want to accept the lowest bid. So, is there any
So, can
discussion?
we have a discussion now?
We can have a discussion, yes.
Okay, so what is the road what work is not done? We have a couple of board members that are saying that the work is not done by Fitzpatrick Excavating.
That was from Dover Road, I think almost 2 years ago.
Yeah,
a year and a half.
the guy knows it's really finished.
Yeah. The job was never finished.
I thought that was all taken care of.
There's a couple guard posts that still had to be put in. And I thought we was
totally-
gonna, when they come down that time, Jay was gonna have we were gonna put them in the same time they were doing some for Jay, so.
It's not totally finished. Whatever was supposed to be done is not totally finished.
It's not a major job.
No.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of having Fitzpatrick Excavating receive the job at the lower price of $10,500 versus Archie Clark's price of $16,980. Please say aye.
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll say aye. Okay, so the ayes have it. And
Okay, so if there's 2 guardrails that need to be done, when is that gonna get done? Because I want to put down on a date.
it's supposed to be done on Friday.
Excuse me?
No, this is different.
Oh, what did you say? Say it again.
I said I want a date on getting whatever needs to be done by a certain date
On the Dover Road.
on the Dover Road.
Oh, on the Dover.
This is really not the time of year to do that.
Okay, but let's bring it up on the next meeting or something,
Okay,
okay?
yes. Okay. So that's it. We have assigned Fitzpatrick Excavating to do this job. It must be done by Friday, the 8th. And that's it.
The only thing that will hold that up if you get winter between now and then.
Winter,
Snow, ice.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
you can't go up in there with a big truck and set up and rope that up there.
Truthfully.
We'll be sanding that every day, the parish, the detour, and the Adams Hill, so hopefully the trucks can go through fine.
Okay. So Jay will be in touch with you.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. We're moving on to the next agenda and you can come sit down.
No, we need a second on the road foreman's report.
Oh,
Or
thank
a
you.
motion to
Renee.
accept.
Make a motion to accept the road foreman's report.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? No, all those
There was something, but, oh, do you have a new date for the, traffic safety audit, Jay?
Thursday at 11.
okay, good, thank you.
I'd like to say one other thing about with Jay there. I'd just like to, extend my condolences to his family.
Yes,
And I told Jay this when this all happened with the flood and all that I told him to go home. I said,
I did too.
I said, be with your family. And I said, just tell the guys to go ahead and work. And, Jay stuck with it, with all that it was going through with his family. And I think it's pretty damn good of him.
yes.
But, they had quite a tragedy at home too. And I wouldn't have blamed him if he'd gone home and forgot all the damn roads,
Well,
He had a
you know
road
what?
crew that would have done it
Mike,
anyways, but.
I think you were absolutely appropriate, and Chris, to say that to him. I did reach out to Jay also, and please accept the condolences of the Selectboard and the community at large, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Yeah, sending our best to you and your family.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you, Jay.
yeah, thank you very much, and thanks, Mike, for bringing that up. Okay, we are now going to administrative assistance report. Move out so everybody can see you.
A reminder for those committee members that have not sent me your reports for the town report, please do so by the end of the week. Scheduling for tonight through September, the login for select board meetings will be the same. This is found at the top of each agenda, and it will be on the postings for each meeting. So if anybody wants to save those, it's the same login credential IDs. I should receive the 2021 diesel tax exempt from the state of Vermont. VTrans is creating a different approach for municipalities to log in for these certifications. I am using Word to create a ballot for voting on the articles for town meeting. You have a draft as to what they could look like. Carol has informed me that she will be using a tabulator for election the officials. So attached to the administrative report is a breakdown of the appropriations, or we can do it according to each article and then list the appropriations separately if that's more understandable. They are yes or no boxes. There is nothing that can be changed on the articles once they're printed.
That looks great, Juanetta.
I can do a mixture of both of them, whatever makes it easier for the understanding. I would like to select dates for the informational meeting. This will allow me to coordinate with CORE at BCTV for any extra preparation needed. Is there anyone else that would like to be part of the team to work on the details for town meeting? And then I've listed 4 dates. Monday, February 15th, which is a holiday, would be our next, it would be one of the regular scheduled select board meetings. If we postponed it to the Tuesday after the holiday, that would be February 16th. February 22nd is not a regular scheduled day, but it's still within the 10 days before town meeting. And the night before town meeting, which is Monday, March 1st. I need to at least have 2 of those.
I can do all but March 1st.
We would be conducting an informational meeting via the Zoom, in which we can explain how the Australian ballot works and the articles being discussed on any of those nights that you choose.
Now, if we take and have explained it on Zoom, one person just can't get up and just talk and talk and talk for an hour.
There could be time limits. CORE would be orchestrating the informational meeting for me because of the capacity to have many attending.
Yeah, we would conduct that meeting in the way we've done in the past when there's a large number of people.
Yes.
I will make it clear at the beginning of the meeting that we have a certain number of minutes that each person is allowed to speak so that we can reach out to other people who want to speak. And of course, we want everybody to speak in a manner that we can listen to and to be listened to. And
without interruption.
right, absolutely. So is there anybody else other than Angela who's willing to work on this with you?
No, Angela said she was not available Monday, March 1st for the.
No, I know,
Oh.
but she said she could work on the other day.
Oh, okay.
Is there anybody else? Shelley, are you available to work with Winetta?
I'm working on another special project for the town, but, what is the meeting entailing? What time frame?
That's to be discussed with the team and what's available, what CORE has available as far as if there's extra preparation that we need to do.
So it's gonna be evening, right?
I think the entire select board should be a part of this whole project to get this town meeting going.
Yeah, I think it's probably,
It should be everybody.
yeah.
Well, that's great if everybody shows up.
I'll be there. Tell me when.
Is it evenings or daytimes or what?
I have to do evenings. I apologize.
Yeah,
Winetta,
I could ask CORE if she's available for evenings.
okay.
and these are gonna be just 2 separate meetings that you're talking about?
The team would work independently of everybody to the preparation for town meeting, which entails what needs to be set up for the informational meetings so that the public is aware of how this is going to work.
Juanetta, can you have a conversation with CORE to find out exactly what needs to be done and then pass it on to the entire select board so that we can figure out on our side what we need to do? And then we can have a discussion as a whole with CORE?
She did email me back this after 5. We would like that participants enter the meeting with their cameras off except for the moderator. Make sure their names are displayed correctly. Live stream on cable or Facebook would display just the moderator and whoever is speaking. Raise hand features. BCTV would be the director who knows whose camera to turn on. It would be simplest if there was no voting during the pre-town meeting, because someone on town staff would have to make sure that everyone on the call was a town resident before eligible voting. This is the way that Brattleboro conducted their town meeting in September, and it worked well.
And again, this informational meeting is a meeting where we just are discussing issues, but there's not going to be any changes made from this
Correct.
informational meeting, correct?
Correct.
So that's going to be notified to the general public and everyone who attends, correct?
When the warnings are posted, all of the articles will be listed as well as what is being voted on. And if we use the draft of both the individual appropriation, yes or no's,
Yeah.
on the appropriation so that everybody can see what was asked for and what was given. And then the other articles, which has the capital, the revenue, the other things that go into it, the tax things, the other business that the town conducts on behalf of, that arises. Conveying of property, these normal articles would still be listed with yes or no's.
What date are you planning to have this informational meeting?
That's up to you. I gave you 4 dates that work as regular scheduled. Monday the 15th is a holiday. We are legally we're closed. So I
How
guess,
about Tuesday, February 16th?
okay.
These dates are for the informational meeting and not for working on the details for the town meeting.
The informational meetings will be discussing what's being voted on at town meeting. We are making these things available to the public.
No, I understand that, but the dates that are listed on your report,
No, what I'm asking for, the other informational meeting, the extra work that I have to do with CORE is separate from these 4 dates.
So those would be additional dates that you need somebody to help you out?
Yes,
Okay. Just let me know, Juanetta.
thank you.
You're welcome.
but when is the actual town, well, we know when the town meeting is, but, when is the informational meeting?
That's what I'm asking the select board to choose.
Oh, right now.
February 16th would be a good day because it's not a holiday, but it's not a normal Monday.
That's what I'm suggesting. Is
Okay.
there
Works for me.
any other suggestion?
So out of the list of those 4 dates, that's what my question was, is we needed to choose one to become the informational meeting date, correct?
We want 2 informational meetings.
Oh, 2 informational, okay.
So it's the 16th, that's 2 weeks before town meeting, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and you have to
And
have
you gotta
it.
have 2 of them?
It's wise that if anybody didn't get the first meeting, they have a chance to be aware of the second one.
I have a question about that. If you just want the same information given on a second date, why can't we do it through Zoom where people can just log in at another time and watch it?
I think we only need one informational meeting on town meeting. That's what most towns do, they'll hold a meeting like once.
We've never done Australian ballot before.
Right, but I said most towns have the one meeting. I mean, it's just like all these things that we're asking, that the people are asking money for. You got that yes and no, right? The vote on it.
Yes.
How's that determine how we vote on a budget at the end?
Well, that's,
Because now everybody, we gotta go through and count the votes that night. And if they vote down, I mean, I think you either have the vote down, yes, the budget, or no, the budget. Because now if they start changing it and want different numbers in
they
here.
can't change this. They can't change the figures. It's a yes or no.
So either yes or no, but it's gonna change if they say yes, I mean, no, you're gonna take, say that waste, solid waste, $11,000, all of a sudden everybody says no, that goes away, so that goes off your budget,
Yeah, how
Right.
does that happen?
you know? I would think you could list all the names of everybody, how much each one of them are getting, like it used to be in the town report. In the last couple of years it hasn't, because I heard that at town meeting last year too, that we didn't have it broke down, we just had a total number. I would think you'd go down through and you'd list everything down through that people has asked for and how much they're getting. What we've already discussed at these budget meetings. Because like I said, I mean, they've been all open to the public with the Zoom and everything else, just like our informational meetings. We'll have one informational meeting where it will be open. People can say what they want then, I guess. I mean, but you're still gonna be in your budget, you know? We're gonna have this all made up before we even have an informational meeting, because these things are all gonna be, you gotta have them so we can vote, you know?
Right. And
And
next,
that's it. I mean,
next Monday is our last.
the only way
budget.
they can actually do it is if people are really that, they've had a lot of chances. And everybody you sent all the names to had more than enough time to answer if they wanna put in for that money.
Right.
And they didn't answer. So after a while, you gotta cut it off, which we've done, so it doesn't go into it. Now, if people feel that strongly about it, they have to vote down our budget. So when we're all done going through all these papers that night and see, well, we said, Jesus, you know, all of a sudden here is 500 people says they don't want our budget. And then you go back and now you gotta redo your budget. But you can't have it just keep changing from 1 to 2. I would go down through, put the list in the town report.
Like the articles on the second.
I wouldn't bother with no yes or no, you know? I
So,
wouldn't even have it so they vote on that part of it. It's gonna show what everybody's asked for, just like it used to, and how much they used to, how much they're getting. Because I mean, these people have all come back and asked us. It isn't like that we've just cut them back. Most of them, they wanted a little more money, we've told them they could have the extra money.
we've either level funded
We've
it
agreed.
or agreed to
Right.
the increase, correct?
I mean, now if anybody comes in and says, oh, I think I'd have them $10,000 more that outfit, which that's what they've done at town meeting diff times, you know, so they wanna add it to it. But I think it's gonna have to go in the report, just with all the names, everybody's looking for the money. And then down the bottom, we're gonna have a total down here, what that is. And they're gonna vote on that article at $100,000 or $200,000 or $50,000, and that's what it is. If that gets voted down, then we go back and readjust.
Okay, so sample 2 would be the better form with the articles listed and the yes or no, like,
I wouldn't have no yes or no, I would just have show them what everybody's asked for, what we've agreed on, what they've come back and told us they need.
no, but instead of doing the appropriations with a yes or no in the first page of the draft, just list the appropriations, what was asked, what was given,
Yeah,
total down here, make that one article.
yeah. Yeah, that's the way it used to be in the
Okay.
town. It used to be, and then like I said, at the end, they had it down here, you know, in that town meeting before, you know, where you could do that.
Yeah.
Only thing is, like if they vote down they're gonna have to vote the budget down to ever change it.
Well, it says here on this Australian ballot procedures for 2021 annual meetings, it says the board must vote to put all articles, excuse me, on the Australian ballot. It cannot decide pursuant to this temporary authority to only move a certain article or type of articles to be on the ballot. The intent of the law was to remove the need for floor meetings that will involve a large gathering in an enclosed space for an extended period of time. As such, all articles to be voted must be placed on the ballot if the legislative body chooses to do so. So we have to have all of those articles on, as Mike said. And,
With a total at the bottom.
right,
And then we just show what everybody's getting, that way there's nothing's hidden, you know, it's all right out there. And it's all that, like I said, if there was a half a dozen people that's been on here before, you've called and asked them 2 or 3 times, wrote them letters,
Yes.
and if they didn't come back,
Out of the 34 people that had previously gotten appropriations, we didn't hear from 5.
All right.
Here it says, once the Australian ballot voting method is adopted, an informational hearing is required to be held within 10 days of the election. Because there is no opportunity to discuss the articles akin to what takes place at the floor meeting, the informational hearing is meant to be the opportunity for voters to discuss the articles and ask questions about those to the legislative body.
So that's within 10 days.
Yeah,
So our meeting's on the, what, the
at
2nd of
least 10
March?
days. It says at least 10
Oh, at
days
least 10
before.
days. So I was gonna say, you got the 2nd, so the 22nd would be,
Marion,
Yes.
Deb Luskin, our moderator, is raising her hand to speak.
Deb, would you like to speak? I can't
Can
hear
you
you.
unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. This is one of the things I came to discuss today. So
Right.
I'm wondering if I can join the discussion now. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the 2 different drafts of the warning, but the last 10 years or so, I've always helped the select board with the warning. And so that's what I actually came to do.
Oh, thank you.
So, so the thing, and I'm hearing, what I'm hearing sounds a little bit of confusion. The select board, I'm assuming that you had a meeting where you, where voting on by Australian ballot was on the agenda, and then you have decided to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so now, in addition to electing our officers by Australian ballot, we're going to be, the townspeople will be voting on each article. And so the town has to have this informational meeting 10 days beforehand. The warning is already set. There can be discussion, but there can be no amendments, which is the sad part of using Australian ballot, because so few people come to your meetings, but more people come to town meetings. So it is a chance for those people to make changes, amendments, and approve things, and change all your hard work. But it's so I've been thinking a lot about how to make the best of a bad situation.
Ask you a question? Just
Yeah.
interrupting. I think, is it my understanding that you had offered to run the informational meeting for us?
Haven't gotten there yet. What I'm talking about, the warning, which comes before the informational meeting and is the actual heart of the Australian ballot process. It's the only way to engage voters this year. So, and the thing is that if you can't get, if your budget is defeated because you haven't, because people are not happy with it, you're going to have another meeting and another, and that's very expensive. As in terms of your time and the town's finances, because meetings are expensive. Meetings cost money. So it seems to me that making a budget, rather making putting as many things on the Australian ballot for voters to say, yes, we endorse this, and no, we don't endorse that, would do 2 things. One, it would give voters more say without having any ability to amend or discuss, except people at the informational meeting will be able to opine, but that's, anybody can have an opinion, it doesn't change anything unless somebody tries to persuade people to vote one way or another. Please, support this or don't. So that would be my, and I haven't seen the final budget because it probably doesn't exist yet.
Next Monday is our final budget meeting.
Pardon?
Next Monday, January 11th, is when our final budget meeting will be held.
Okay. So the final warning would be after that. I would be willing to be, it sounded as if there are sample budgets and that maybe Winetta is getting a group together to work on that or on the informational meeting. And if that's open to other people, I would be willing to help out on that if I can.
You can.
Okay. Well, it has to be on a day I'm not teaching. A night I'm not teaching. But yeah. So that's what I would be very interested in doing. And the other thing I wanted to tell you that, I know you guys are there usually around that table with not a lot of other people giving their, or here we are in Hollywood Squares and not a lot of other people showing up to talk and tell you what they think. It occurs to me that the more things you put on Australian ballot, the more things you'll find out what townspeople want to support and what they don't want to support. And that could be really interesting information, especially when it comes to special appropriations. Because there may be things that people really want to support and win by a landslide, and things that people are not very interested in and vote against. You don't know, but this is a chance to find out. I would suggest that even in a live meeting, and in a live meeting, there can be a division of the House, not a division of the House, a division of the question. And this is very interesting. If I can find it on my computer. So a division of a question is, Robert's rule says, if a pending motion contains two or more parts capable of standing as separate questions, the assembly can vote to treat each part accordingly in succession. I wish I had known this last year. It would have made the special appropriations go smoother. And so that's the main thing. There's also a special motion where someone can, a series of independent resolutions or main motions dealing with different subjects is offered in one motion. And in such a case, one or more of several resolutions must receive, a single member, this is the important part, a single member can ask for a division of the question, even if somebody else is speaking. So the point of reading Robert's rules to you is not to put you to sleep, but to tell you that if there was somebody, if we were having a live meeting, people could divide. If you make one lump sum for highway, people could say, I want to divide this. And that would happen. If somebody saw something in one or another. And certainly it would happen with special appropriations. So I would urge the town report always has, is really good with, what we gave this organization last year, what we'll give it this year, what it cost to have gravel last year, what it cost to have gravel this year. But with the special appropriations, I think it would be, I have an idea of how it would be very helpful, and it would give voters more agency to to express their opinions about what should be granted and what they're willing to pay for and what they are not. And it would give really interesting information because maybe, yeah, go ahead. You're muted. Shelley? Shelley? Shelley?
Shelley, are you ready?
Start over.
Sorry, but we have a list of all the different appropriations listed, the special
Mhm.
appropriations.
Yeah.
And there's the amount requested, and then the amount budgeted,
Mhm.
and then there's yes and no for each individual agency.
So are you putting that past information and current information on the, are you thinking about putting that on the,
Well,
on the ballot?
we could put the past amount in the column. It's the amount requested and the amount budgeted right now, currently.
Well, that's in your budget. That's how you write your budget. I'm talking about the warning. So a warning is best.
Okay.
The warning is what I'm concerned about. That the historical information for the last few years in your budget should always be there for everything, not just special appropriations. What we spent on salaries, what we spent on paper clips, all those things, how much they cost last year, how much they cost this year, what we think they're going to cost next year, what we're
In
budgeting.
the actual warning, you're saying?
The warning, the ballot on which voters will mark their yes or no, their support. So it would say, let me think if I can say it. It's like, will the voters of the town of Newfane make special appropriations as follows? Then A, for the ABC school, $200. B, the Better Business Bureau, $200. C, collaborative learning, $300. D, development of pastry chefs, $600. And people could say, well, you know what? I don't want to support the development of pastry chefs. I'm going to vote no for that. But I'm going to vote yes for the things I like, and I'm going to vote no for the things I don't like. But it gives everybody a chance to vote on each appropriation. And if you lump them together, we have no idea what voters really want to support and what don't, because it's a lump sum.
We do have a sheet. I don't know where it is in the warning, but we have a separate sheet listing all the appropriations of people that came and spoke to the select board. And it will have the amount that they've requested and the amount that we budgeted for it, the amount that we approved for it.
I understand, and that's wonderful. That's a wonderful thing that you have included in the town report.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, if you lump them all together, you only give, you have $10,000 and you only give voters a chance to say, I support all those things for 10,000. Well, I like 6 of the 10 things.
Wait a minute.
You shouldn't gesture. Can I finish, please?
Yeah.
Let's say you have 15 organizations and you've got $15,000, and half the town only wants to support 3 of those organizations, and they want to support them very much. So they'll vote for the whole thing because they want to make sure those organizations get it. Or the other way, they'll vote against it because they only want to support 3 of those organizations. If we divide the question, as Robert rules allow, you'll give voters a chance to say how much they want to give to the A organization, the B organization, and they can see also what was given last year, what's been budgeted this year. If all $15,000 of the special appropriations are defeated, that's interesting information. It could also trigger a petition of, and a special town meeting, because last year, special appropriations was the biggest topic at town meeting. And I think that that's something to pay attention to as a select board. If I were on the select board, which I am not, I am just the moderator, I would think, okay, this is what we think. What does the town think? How can we make sure the voters have a chance to vote in this very particular, unfortunate circumstance of COVID-19, which really doesn't allow for direct democracy that Vermont is known for, and that people move to Vermont and live here because of that. So, yeah.
Can I respond a little to that? First of all,
I'm the guest, so of course.
no, I would like to respond to what you're saying. First of all, I wasn't on the select board when last town meeting day, when some people were upset that they didn't get their appropriations. But I do know that immediately after that, it was strongly advised, and we did change and give those people who were upset their appropriations, because the select board realized that they really wanted it, and we gave them the funds to go ahead.
Oh, it was voted on.
I guess
It was voted.
I'm not really sure I'm understanding. I thought it was the town meeting that did that.
Yeah, it was. That's what I said. It was voted on at town meeting that day.
Right.
And what that was, the ones that was there were a couple of people who were upset because they weren't in this list of people that came to us and wanted their name put on this list. Yeah, and like I said, I can see what you're saying to the whole yes and no thing, right? Mm-hmm. But what I'm getting at, you can go down to and you can vote yes or no on this ballot, right? Mm-hmm. And unless you listen to our meetings when these people were invited to come, and like you're saying, everything, we could only have 10 people at a time in the building, or it had to be Zoom. And a lot of this, this whole Zoom thing started back, and one night there, when we had that one meeting when they wanted us to support like not the Black Lives Matter, but that whole organization. So we went with the whole Zoom. Then we went and upgraded our Zoom thing in here, so people could come in and chime in. So when we're doing through all of our budget, Grace Cottage, they come in, they told us one of our things we asked for was, like I said, these people can vote yes or no, but they don't have a clue. Grace Cottage is asking for $3,500, which they've been for years, but they don't have a clue what they do for the community. They didn't, like that night at our meeting, they come down through and they said, we're asking for $3,500, but for Newfane residents, we probably spent $50,000, or they get all these other grants. Same with like SEFCA and different ones like that, and SEVID and all them places. They all come on to our Zoom meetings and explain what they've done for our communities, because we asked them that. At town meeting that day, unless these people were here, because these people aren't going to be here town meeting day to be able to explain it, except for a yes and no. So these guys here are just going to go down through and check yes or no to either one of them and not have a clue of what most of these people are doing. So then on the ones that, like I said, last year at town meeting, the ones we re-voted on that carried on so long about wasn't in part of that list because they didn't come put it in. So they brought it up at town meeting. So what you'd have to do at this one here, it'd have to be a write-in, because it's not listed because they didn't come back and ask us for it. And we didn't go through the whole procedure like we did with all the rest of them. So you'd have to have it down here. So if there's one here that they ain't here that they want, like, say just like Newfane Renew, they're not on here because they said they're not really doing nothing. Well, if somebody says, I want that and I want to give them $2,000, well, what's the $2,000 for, it's not here. So you can vote. I don't care if you leave it yes or no or not. More than likely, I don't know how it would go, but all these other people, we asked them to come because, just like you're saying, it's a different type of year this year. We can't get out, they can't come around. They can't go into the gathering places. So we asked all these people to join in on the Zoom thing and tell us what they've done for Newfane and how much they've actually spent. And I mean, a lot of them have asked for $1,000, $1,500, and they spent $10,000-$20,000. I mean, I'd like to give them the $20,000 that they've spent around here, because a lot of, you know, hospice and all of them, you know. And I mean, but you got to have an end to it. This is what they're asking for. And like I said, I could go down through and check no at every damn one of them, and then your budget gets voted down. And if I weren't listening to all of our meetings, I wouldn't have a clue what these guys are asking money for. And I think that's what most of these people, if you leave it so they can vote yes or no, most of them don't know. I mean, there's been a few other people that come in on the meetings, but not a lot, you know.
Well, that's why I also think that if people were not at the meetings or people at home did not watch the select board on town site or on TV, because it was recorded, if they really want to know what these organizations had to say about what they do and what they wanted, they can go on a computer and look up the past meetings and listen.
bctv.com.
bctv.com. And they can tune in and hear each and every meeting that we had with the people from the organizations who had their opportunity to express to us and to everybody who would watch what their organization was about. And in fact, truthfully, it was very interesting and it was very helpful. And so it wasn't that that meeting went away. People can tune in, they can watch it on TV, they can go to the Town of Newfane website before Election Day, town meeting, and they can watch it.
Well, like I said, you'd almost have to, because other than, if you voted no on it, what are you voting no for if you didn't watch and see what these guys came to us and explained what they wanted the money for, you know?
Deborah?
Well, it's really interesting what you're saying, but it's actually has nothing to do with what we put on the ballot. Voters, we can't control how interested voters are, but the town report has a report from every one of these organizations. If an interested voter wants to know what they're being asked to vote on, the information is right here.
Right.
I mean, I agree with you that people want to see you deliberating. That's fine. It's people who can get to a computer have access to that. And very few people make up, I'm sorry about that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about putting on the ballot what the select board has budgeted for each individual appropriation. Can I finish, please? So if the town has budgeted for a new backhoe, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the budget. I don't know. But if that could be a separate item, that every time you ask a voter to say, please consider this, you're empowering the voters. So what I remember from last year is that the special appropriations was changed drastically, and when people who didn't read it before they came started reading it at the town meeting, it slowed town meeting up tremendously, and as a result, they included people who didn't even make the deadline. Right. And so that's what the voters decided. But this year, voters will not have that choice. Right. If they will only be able to vote on what gets on here. If the town has a policy about deadlines and they haven't made it, don't put it on. But so, and this is not just about special appropriations. This is about the entire warning. Right. To give people enough, to give the voters a chance to say, we approve of this budget that you've come up with, or we don't approve of this budget. You won't know because there's no discussion. you might get an inkling of what people approve or not approve at the informational meeting, but you might not because you're not having the experience of town meeting, which is where people get to tell you what they want in town. They have other opportunities. Some people take advantage of those. More people take advantage of being at town meeting. So I would like to help you create or look at your proposed budgets and maybe make some suggestions. It's not budgets, your warning, and make some suggestions. I do not have any authority or any voice in the creation of the warning beyond an advisory one, but I've always had that advisory one. And this year, I very much hope that you would at least listen to my advice on that. And getting to what Marion said earlier, I've just read on the informational hearing, which has to be take place 10 days before town meeting day. The Vermont League of Cities and Towns, I'm going to read to you, says, the select board, not the moderator, is statutorily responsible for the administration of this hearing, although informally, many select boards will defer to the moderator once such an informational hearing begins. And call me a fool, but I would be willing to do that. I would hope that I could get training with CORE. And I would need, I know that a good Zoom meeting requires somebody else to be administrating the people raising their hands, their little blue hands, or typing their questions in the chat box. One of the things about so to date, the Brattleboro representative town meeting is the only town meeting, the first and so far the only town meeting that's happened remotely, entirely remotely, in the state of Vermont. And they spent a lot of time setting it up after they got special permission from the legislature. But it's also just a representative town meeting. The only people who could vote were the elected representatives. And townspeople could watch it. I don't think townspeople have a voice. I'm not sure. But the town representatives had a voice. And there are a couple of hundred of them. So it was a big meeting. It went, I have firsthand report that it went remarkably well, but it also went for 15 hours.
Well, just getting back to the appropriations, I guess the question is, are you asking that each individual be in a separate warning?
I am suggesting specifically for special appropriations that there be one article that is divided into a line item for each request.
Right. Well, I think we've accomplished that.
Well, I haven't seen the draft, so I don't know that.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to explain to you that we have one full page in columns, and it's listed, there are agencies listed, and the amount that's been requested from the agency, the budgeted amount, which would be the new budget amount, okay? And then you choose yes or no.
I question why you're including all that other information rather than keeping it simple. Do you support special appropriation to this agency for this amount of money? Yes or no?
Okay, so that's where the difference is.
The information of what was asked for, what was appropriated, what was given historically, what is budgeted for this year, that should all be in the town report, as should all the reports, the written reports that you've received from every agency. And every voter in town should read that.
Well, right, but this is in the actual warning. We have a separate page for the appropriations.
I can't, without seeing it,
Yeah, it's
I
hard to
can't do that. I would be certainly willing to come in and look at it. I would be willing to give you my opinion. I will do some more research with the Secretary of State. But I'm sure that you've done yours. I think that. Yeah, so anyway,
Deborah,
I'm
Deborah,
off help.
I think what Shelley is saying and what I understand you're saying is that we do have a paper with the appropriations of the historical amount and that what we're giving this time. I think what you're saying is that we need a simpler piece of paper with the organizations and just what we are giving as an appropriation and no extra information. Is that what you're saying? And then we go down the line for each organization and what we have voted on to give them for this year. Are you saying that?
It's something close to that. This shouldn't be a separate piece of paper. This is part of the warning.
Yeah.
This is one article in the warning.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And yes, I am saying it should be simpler. I'm saying that all the information that is currently on that page should be in the town report. And
Be simpler.
and the right. I think that boy, I think it was just last year that Pete Van Loan and maybe Winetta and I did a webinar on writing warnings, writing articles for warnings.
Yeah, I don't see it as an actual warning. I just see it as a separate piece of paper.
Well, that's nothing. I mean, I'm talking about the actual warning.
Right. I mean, you can write a warning. Do you, I just don't know how to handle this because it's a whole list and it's a yes and no, and we're in a different kind
well,
of.
that's
situation.
why I'm offering to help.
Right. So we appreciate that.
So I just need to know what your deadline is and when it would be convenient for me to come in and help.
What I've been reading is it doesn't have to, the informational meeting doesn't have to be just exactly 10 days before, but I think I've read that it has to be at least 10 days before. So we could do it 12 days before, 15
No,
days.
it must be held within the 10 days preceding town meeting.
Exactly.
That's the statute.
Okay.
And the very first town meeting I ever moderated was in July, because it turned out that there was one small error in our warning. We didn't have a time specific. These were back in the days when we did both school and town. And we said we would, we'd have the town meeting at the conclusion of the school meeting. Well, that's not a time specific. That doesn't tell the voters when they could come. We had to have a special town meeting in July to ratify that. That's a pain in the neck. So that's why you want to have a warning that has been vetted and passes muster for all those legal things. And I don't know them all, but I've learned a lot of them the hard way. And I'd like to save you the trouble of doing the same.
We're in a draft form anyways, and any help would be greatly appreciated.
Marion,
Definitely.
could you let her know that I did send that draft to her now?
No,
Okay.
Deborah,
There are no secrets if the mic is on.
no, say it, Winetta. Say what you want to say.
So that's one of the things I came to talk to you about. I'm going to mute myself while you finish this part of your meeting. And then when it's time for scheduled members of the public, I've got another issue. Is that, unless you have more questions for me?
No, I think we all would like to have your help and input and guidance in this. It is confusing. And it's new.
It's confusing and we're going to all learn it. And then hopefully next year we can forget it all.
Right.
Go back to what we know.
So then Winetta will give you the information and
I'll call Winetta tomorrow to find out what the scheduling is for meeting by Zoom, meeting at different ends of that table, whatever it is.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. But I'm still here to talk to you later about something else.
Okay.
May I make a motion to accept the administrative assistance report?
Second.
it.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Can I make an amendment to add the treasurer's report? I didn't put it in the agenda, but she is here to give you a report.
Melissa's here?
Yes.
Okay. Melissa, are you ready to give your treasurer's report? I don't think she can hear me.
You need to.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So W-2 and 1099s, I've been working on getting all my information needed for my W-2s and 1099s so I can mail them out to all the employees and the contractors by the end of the week. I will also then send copies to the appropriate parties at the state of Vermont and the IRS. The monthly and quarterly reports, I have finished the monthly report to the state of Vermont for taxes and the Vermont Municipal Employee Retirement System, which is VEMR's. I can now finish my quarterly reports to the state of Vermont, VEMR's, Department of Labor, and the IRS. Those will be completed by tomorrow. Minimum wage and mileage. Effective January 1st, 2021, the new minimum wage is $11.75 an hour. We do have one person who is making minimum wage that this will affect. I have adjusted their minimum wage from the 2020 rate of $10.96 an hour to $11.75 per hour. And the new mileage rate is now 56 cents a mile, down from 57.5 cents. This also went into effect on January 1st, 2021. As far as the budget information, I've entered all the information that I currently have into NEMRIC for next year's budget. I have done all the same for the revenue, expenses, and the capital reports. Once we finish the budget, I can finish all those reports. Miscellaneous, everything else is going as scheduled with accounts payable, payroll, and collecting taxes. Taxes are already coming in for the January 15th installment. Sierra Pratt is doing a great job with the bank reconciliations, and they're getting done on time every month.
Great.
Thank you for your report.
Sounds like you're right on top of everything.
I try.
Is there a motion to accept Melissa's report?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, any conversation or discussion? Other than it's a great report. All those in favor, please say aye
Aye.
of accepting her report.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, report is accepted, and thank you very much, Melissa, for attending our meeting. Makes a big difference when you're here. Okay, next on the item agenda is a committee report, and tonight it's the Planning Commission who has somebody, and I think that person is here.
Okay, hello.
Hi,
Ooh,
Hello, everybody.
Caribbean.
yes, all nice and warm.
Yes, just like last time, right up here on Newfane Hill. You know, it's beautiful up here. So, yeah, so Happy New Year, and thank you for the time on the agenda. I do see that Jane is here, perhaps observing or also maybe even commenting on DBCUD.
Yeah, I have had someone graciously volunteer to be an alternate representative to the DBCUD board. They do need to be appointed by the select board. That's Luke Stafford. All I need is a motion to appoint him as an alternate representative, and he can attend meetings if I'm not able and vote for the town of Newfane if I'm not able to.
Okay. Is there a motion to
I do.
accept Luke Stafford?
I did.
Second? Okay, all those in favor of accepting Luke, please say aye.
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 Okay, motion,
Is he already on your committee?
Nope, I just got an email from him today. So this is quick. Let's appoint him before he changes his mind.
He's a busy person.
Yeah, the next meeting will be held in a couple of weeks, so he can attend that as well. He can listen in as an alternate, and he can do work for the group as an alternate. The town of Newfane still only gets one vote, though.
Right, is he on the planning commission, I guess is the question.
No, he's not. He's not. But if he's going to volunteer, I'll take him.
So he's working within, under you, Jane, I guess, yeah, okay. I just wondered if we had a new member for the planning commission too.
I can try.
Yeah, we seek a fifth member, to be sure.
Maybe there's somebody running around there.
Right. So just to, by way of other report, with respect to short-term rentals, Lynn's intention is within a few days to deliver to you the short-term rental report that she would like you to, as a select board, to read, review, and ponder, and provide feedback, perhaps even at the next select board meeting. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And also just the bigger picture, which is that, we're very excited for 2021, the Planning Commission, insofar as, we look forward to working really closely with you as the select board, particularly on the issues that we all share, which is our town plan and the various sectors of the town plan and the policy recommendations and such. So I know that you've read the town plan carefully already over the past 2 years, and I invite you to certainly, look at it again, read it again carefully with us, with the Planning Commission, as we discuss, various elements of the town plan or sections over the course of the coming year. So we're, really, again, very energized, excited, and looking forward to doing that with you. So Angela, knowing full well, and not only having read the town plan, but also being a major author of the town plan, understands, all the good things that are in there and the excitement that one can draw from, reflecting on what our possible futures can be. So that's an invitation, and thank you again for giving us some time on the select board meeting agenda, and we look forward to seeing you, in a couple of weeks.
Thank you to all of you for your hard work.
It's a pleasure. The Planning Commission actually, I think, is very exciting and energizing work. So I just issued the general invitation to join us. Even if you're not a commissioner, you can certainly come to our meetings.
And when are you holding the meetings and how are you holding them?
We're holding our meetings. Thanks for that question, Shelley. We're holding our meetings second and fourth Thursdays every month. And we post our Zoom link on the town website, as well as the posted sites. And, at WW, Newfane Market, Williamsville Post Office, as well as, of course, the town office. But the easiest thing naturally would be to go to the meeting announcement on the town website and just pick up the Zoom link right there. And we meet starting at 6 o'clock.
Ken, I was told that you need 4 additional members to complete your board. Is that correct?
No, we're at 4 members, Jane Douglas, me, Lynn Forrest, and Nolan Edgar. So we're at 4 members. The 5th member is the member we're looking for.
Just one.
Just one. So we do and have had quorum now for substantially since August. We struggled with quorum earlier, which you'll see and read about in the town report. But we're up and running now and overcome the earlier hurdles. So we're fired up. We're ready.
Okay, thank you. And our next select board meeting is Monday, January 18th. So we'll see you then.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go swimming now.
Yeah, exactly. No, It's more fun to just be right here.
So before you leave though, Ken, are you guys looking, or could you be looking into some economic development, the plan for the town, and to be able to present that to the town in the next couple of meetings or whatever?
Ideas for economic development?
Yeah, what the plan is, based on our approved plan.
Sure. What I can do, and again, we're all very, very busy. I'm thinking particularly of the select board. So you may not have a really excellent chance to study that part of the town plan. But certainly, Shelley, we will be ready in the next meeting and the next meetings to isolate and crystallize, key points from that section of the town plan.
Yeah, there seems to be some interest, growing interest of starting businesses and et cetera here in town. So I think it would be, wise of us to take a look at it and kind of talk about it publicly.
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yes, you too. And I'm going to stick around as well, but thank you all.
Okay, good. Select scheduled members of the public, and that is Deb Luskin. Where are you, Deb?
I'm right here. And I'm wearing a different hat. This is, I've been asked by the Board of the Commons, Vermont Independent Media, about the possibility of moving their distribution box in Williamsville to the porch of the Williamsville Hall. There are about 60 papers a week taken by people either living in this village or passing through. And because the eatery is closed, it's a sloshy walk. And the town, the Williamsville Hall is at least a covered porch. And evidently it was there once before. So I'm just asking on their behalf and wonder what you think.
I don't see why it can't be moved. That makes sense.
Who's gonna keep it shoveled out in the winter?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Was it Mike?
No, Chris. Chris.
Who's gonna keep it shoveled out in the winter?
Hasn't it been kept shoveled?
Yeah, it's taken care of by the town.
On the front porch of the Williamsville Hall.
I got enough work.
That's the proposed location, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, this year the hall's closed, but most years it's been shoveled and kept open.
I think it has been shoveled still.
And it's been shoveled this year.
Somebody did. The town crew's got enough to do without shoveling that.
I think they're already doing it, Chris.
There's somebody else is it Mark Gray that does the shoveling?
It is.
So if he's already doing it, why we just move the box over there?
That's my concern, that's all.
Well, I guess I had no problem with it. That's not gonna cause a lot of, like you said, Mark does it anyway, so might as well set it there. Make a motion, let it put it there.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, the motion passes. Deborah.
Thank you. I will report that to the Vermont Independent Media, and I'm sure they will, I'll make sure that they express their gratitude. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time tonight and for all the work you do. I'm going to sign off.
Thank you for all your work, Deb.
We'll be in touch.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We don't have any unscheduled members of the public, and so we're moving on to old business. And the first item is the town meeting on March 2nd with the Australian ballot.
So it sounds like Deb's willing to help me do the draft for the articles and the wording.
Yeah,
I will contact her tomorrow to get, some sort of idea before Monday night's budget meeting.
Yeah,
great.
Um,
that'd be great.
Well, I can see what she said about the warning too, like on that one, because that's not in it. That usually was a warning, right? With all the names and everything. This is just added into the budget.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
I could see you putting that in the report as an article still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go over with Melissa and Jay about the other articles that we've discussed in our previous budget meetings
mhm.
and have those drafted up as well.
Can I just ask, I mean, I'm a little confused still about the listing of the appropriations. Like, even though they have a yes or a no to it, if they say no, then what's the outcome? What do we do if they don't approve a certain appropriation?
Then I guess we'd have to take that out of your budget.
So it's either.
If the majority of them voted no,
Yeah, it's a majority.
it'd have to be that, most of them voted it down, So if they voted it down, then it'd come off your budget.
Okay, so then the actual budget amount changes, and isn't that a warning number, like we have a final
Yeah.
amount? So how does that happen if they don't, then I don't understand it, I guess.
You know what, Shelley, I don't understand it that clearly either. So I'm hoping that when Winetta talks to Deborah, she can go into it further so we do get a clear understanding.
Yeah, 'cause it's not like we can change it there, and also the protocol about counting the votes. And my question is, I also noticed on that the terms, the town officers, that's going to be handled by a tabulator by the town clerk. And I guess the question is how did that happen, and how would that, she would have to develop a budget, a ballot to go through the tabulator, and do we want that to happen? And how are we going to vote all the votes? But those are all things I guess we're going to learn about or discuss further.
Right.
At Monday night's budget meeting, I'll let you know what the deadline is for the draft for having the printer. It's a company that does it specifically for the tabulator. I think it's CUV or something like that Carol gets to do the ballots. So if we can get this drafted and available by the time the deadline is for the printer, we might be able to do them all. If not, we were thinking just saving money by doing it on a Word document. But then that means counting everything by hand.
Yeah, so I guess those are really important questions that we need to talk about as select board, how that all is going to work. I mean, it was just new to me to hear that the names were going to be put on a ballot and then used, tabulator was going to be used. Those are all decisions that the select board needs to make a decision on.
Well, I think because they're all registered with Carol and she has the proper spelling and everything, that's always been something that she handled as far as creating those ballots. The Australian ballot for the articles is something new for us as far as writing them up and getting them all.
That's right. I think we did have ballots, right, in the past for choosing town officers.
Right.
Okay. So that's just a regular
Yeah, the more
thing that we've done in the past. I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But there might be you're saying there might be a possibility of putting additional questions like the warnings onto a form for tabulation.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, if Deborah meets with Winetta, I think anybody, select board members can join the meeting, right?
I'll find out what Deborah's availability and let you know as soon as I know.
Okay,
Okay, great.
thank
That would
you.
be great.
Yeah. Okay, we are moving on to animal control. Can we adjourn?
Okay.
Okay, we have been involved with an issue about some dogs who have been running on other people's property and without the owner there to control them. And we have had complaints by the owners of the properties where the dogs do arrive. And they have felt very uneasy and frightened about that. So we have had the counsel of our town attorney, Bob Fisher, in how to deal with this. And we have had the sheriff's office deliver a letter that the select board wrote, and it was hand delivered to the owner of this particular group of dogs, and it was given 10 days. In that letter, the owner was given 10 days to respond to us and to let us know if that person is now controlling the dogs in a way where they're not running. And do you want to add some things, Winetta? And then do you want to add
I actually
something?
talked to the woman tonight before the meeting, and she does have the dogs under control. She takes them out when she takes them, they take them on a leash. She has a muzzle for the dogs, and then they have a chain run that they hook them up on if they have to, but she has them under control, like not to leave her property anymore.
Which is very good news.
Ellen? That's good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, we had plans, if that didn't happen, that we were going to have to meet with her or find a way to remove the dogs from the property. But it really sounds like good news tonight that the woman is now controlling the animals.
Well, I think if that's going to be the case, then we need to formally send her a letter stating, that she's in compliance. But as soon as she's not, we resume immediately back to where we are or were her, within hearing from her that she has her animals under control.
Yeah, I told her that tonight too.
Yeah, I know, but
Right, yeah, put it in the letter. You might as well put it in writing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only question I have is, do you think that it's necessary or important for a town representative, whether it's a select board person or somebody that the select board votes on, to go over to this owner's property and just make sure that we see that there are now leashes and, what did she say she had? Chains?
Well,
Muzzle.
they don't
Muzzles.
leave, they don't leave the property.
A run.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a good idea, just to confirm. I mean, somebody could tell you anything they want, want to hear.
Because we do have a responsibility to the family who has written to select board several times about the upset that they're experiencing in their lives. So I think we owe it to us, we owe it to the general public of Newfane that we do have strict animal control laws. And we do owe it to this woman who owns the dogs to confirm that we're going to take her word on it. And then after that, we can write a letter to her and to the complainant.
The problem with this particular place is, it's not on a town road. You've gotta go on private property to get there to see the dogs. But we have no right to do that.
Right.
So how do we deal with that?
I think we could ask her to provide us with some type of written and photographs of what she has to keep these dogs in her care safe.
She could also give us permission to have a representative come over and talk to her and see in person what she's doing.
Yeah, you'd have to get permission before you just want to show up
Yeah,
there.
we'd have to get permission.
Yeah, if we get permission, because we were ready to have the dogs taken away from her.
Right, and pounded.
Yeah, pounded. And we also are looking, I mean, we, as a board, some of us have been working because we have no animal control person to do this. And we've had to, extend a lot of time and energy because somebody decided that they don't want to abide by the rules, and they have animals that have been endangering and biting other people.
She should be responsible for providing us with some type of proof that she's complying with what we've asked her to do.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see happen. So do we want to,
And again, if she can't do that, then we resume exactly where we were on the steps that we were going to take next.
yeah,
It doesn't go back, doesn't start all over again. It just starts right from where we are right now. So that means that we would take the animals away from the owners.
right. So I'm gonna ask Mike a question and he can say yes or no to it. But it sounds like you had a good conversation with her. Would you be willing to make a date with her permission to go over and see?
That's a dangerous word.
A date, okay, no date. Okay.
You're gonna get me in trouble. You get that up.
That's right. Oh, forget it. I'm so sorry. Oh, please forgive me.
I'll give her a call, yes, and see if I can go over and look at it.
Okay, that is so great. I so appreciate it.
Please make sure that there is some type of photograph or however you want to do it, to make sure that you see everything that she has that's in compliance for what we asked for.
Yeah.
That way we can have record of it in our file.
And we will follow up with a written letter.
Right. After Mike goes, if she consents to him coming over and meeting with her in person and that she can show him what she's done to control the dogs, and he comes back to Selectboard and reports this, then we can write her a letter.
And also a letter to other interested parties.
To the other people, yes.
Yes. So you will call her tomorrow?
Yeah.
You're not gonna make a date, you're gonna make an appointment.
That's right.
So you won't get in trouble with anybody.
That's right.
Okay, thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Mike, for doing that.
Yeah, really. Okay, so we're on to new business. Is there any new business?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay, do we have any correspondence? It doesn't look like we do.
No.
No. So it seems like the next step of our meeting is pay orders. So at this point, I think we're going to say goodnight to everybody who's been watching. And again, Happy New Year, and please be safe and healthy, everybody. And particularly now where there's ice and snow on the roads, please be careful walking and driving, and have a good night. Thank you very much for joining in.